Welcome to our house. This is the Screenplay Podcast 2025. I am your host, Evan Grenis, and with me, as always, PGA Tour player Andrew Novak.
What's up, everyone? Last week of the regular season, we made it here. There's obviously some storylines this week. Some teams are going to make it, some aren't. I guess really only one game up in there for that, but can't wait to talk about it.
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Screenplay_podcast. New episodes every Wednesday, 8 a.m., wherever you listen to podcasts. We have also partnered with Wager Games. They are giving our listeners a $100 deposit match on the Sleeper app. Head over to our Instagram page. Click the link promo code, get your $100 deposit match. I'm looking at it now. I like the Jamar Chase, more than half a touchdown on Saturday. All right, huge week for the pod. Got a lot of good stuff to get into. It's going to be one of our best ones. Fantasy leagues comes to a finish. We're going to have some shout outs, going to have a few stories. First episode of 2025. Patriots right now have the number one overall pick. Let's get into it. Monday Night Football, Lions defeat the 49ers 40-34. Last week, Dan Campbell said they were coming to San Fran with all they got. They did. They dropped 40 points on the 49ers. Second half comeback. I will tell you what, the state of the Lions defense is concerning. They got backups playing for backups. Ricky Pearsall was looking like Cooper Kupp out there. That was my biggest takeaway from the game, was that the Lions defense is really struggling, and they're going to have to put up points to beat people.
Yeah, I mean, we've kind of talked about this, but those injuries are adding up, specifically on that side of the ball. This defense has been very physical all year. They really started the year quite well, the run defense especially. Secondary has been, a little attackable at times, but now with all these injuries, the pass rush isn't getting there. The secondary is getting exposed. Obviously, this 49ers team is a solid team. Like, they have not won a lot of games, but we know this offense can do things, and they definitely exposed them. I'm worried when they start playing some playoff teams, some playoff competition, it could be a problem.
Yeah. Did you see that play where Jared Goff threw it to Amon-Ra? He pitched it backwards to Jameson Williams, and he turned the corner, ran it for a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
The fantasy football apps and the sports books had no idea what to do with that play, because
Yeah, they've run that like 3 times this year.
I know, but Amon-Ra did not receive a catch for that play. And they also gave Jared Goff a touchdown pass. So how does Amon-Ra?
That's how they've done it every time.
I
But
know, but it's wild.
Amon
They got to
Ra
fix
gets
that.
the
How
catch.
he
Amon
did
Ra gets the catch.
not in the fantasy apps. He didn't. It
Then
counted.
they
It
had
counted as a
those.
Goff touchdown and a Jameson Williams catch. So if you did not see the play and you just saw what happened, like
They
you'd be
should
like,
fix it. Every other time they've run it, this is the third time they've run it. They also scored a touchdown on that exact same play, but instead of Jameson Williams looping, they actually had Jahmyr Gibbs looping out of the backfield,
right.
and Gibbs scored it. Every time I've seen this play, and this actually came down. This happened like 2 weeks ago with Josh Allen, when Josh Allen got a throwing touchdown and a receiving touchdown on the same play because Amari Cooper pitched it back to him. Do you remember that? Like, this
I
was like
do.
2 weeks
Yeah.
ago.
Yep.
So it's the same thing basically. Whoever catches it gets the catch in the yards to the point where they got it, and then the next player. So Jameson Williams actually didn't get a catch on a play. He scored a
Well, maybe
receiving
that's
touchdown.
supposed to happen, but that is
Because
not
I
what happened in
remember
the
when
fantasy apps.
Jahmyr
I was
Gibbs
checking
did
it
it.
out, and after that play, Amon-Ra still 0.0 catches right through the fantasy app. So I mean, they gotta.
They should have fixed that. But I know, like, earlier this year when it happened, I had Gibbs on my team, and I was scrolling through. I saw he had 0 catches for 21 yards and a touchdown or something like that. Like, when
Yeah.
he scored, I was like, wait, what did I miss?
All right.
But yeah, scoring those kind of plays can be a bit funky.
Next week, Lions Vikings at the Lions. For the number one seed, winner gets number one seed. A bye. Loser will be going to. It's looking like either at Tampa or at the Rams. I don't think at the Rams is the worst place to play right now, especially with you look at the Rams offense, they're not putting up a lot of points. I don't think Stafford's playing the best. But again, you want that number one seed. Who do you think's winning that game?
Yeah, I think being in Detroit is big. This is obviously, I mean, this is the game of the regular season. This is the last one of the season, and really against two teams that have probably been two of the best teams in the league. Uh, I do think Detroit takes it because it's at home, but man, it's going to be close. It's too close for me to be betting on that thing. I think they got that line about right.
Yeah, I do too. I'm
Um,
gonna be looking a lot at the Lions overs on just a lot of items this week. Team score, Goff yards, probably Gibbs yards. I mean, if the Lions are going to win this game, they're going to have to put up another 40-point game against the Vikings because that defense cannot
Yeah.
stop anyone right now.
I think I saw the over under for the game was like 57 and a
Yeah,
half, which is, I mean, that's unheard of almost in NFL.
right.
Uh, I mean, the Lions, they kind of do want to win this game. The Buccaneers and the Rams can both sling the ball, and the state of the Lions secondary, I wouldn't want to be going on the road really against either of those teams.
Nope. All right, Sunday Night Football. Commanders defeat the Falcons 30-24. Man, this game was good. Commanders get the win
Yeah.
in OT. Two rookie quarterbacks dueling it out. I don't know what I think of Michael Penix yet. I mean, I thought he looked good in spots, and I thought he made some poor throws in other spots. I think I need more of a sample size than 2 games to really judge him. I mean, he made some good throws there uh, down the stretch, but he also has some balls that he airmails, maybe not quite in stride with the receivers yet. What do you think about Michael Penix?
Yeah, he had that interception early, and that looked like a miscommunication
Right.
to
Yep.
me. But there was also a few throws where he was just putting them in the ground, missing wide. It
Hmm.
just, I don't know if that's some just not being comfortable with the number one wide receivers, like, obviously not getting as many reps with them. So I don't know if it's communication, timing issues, but yeah, he looked rusty. I really don't know what Atlanta was doing time management wise in this game. Literally, first end of the first half and the end of the game, they just were refusing to take timeouts when they really could have saved themselves some time to actually score. They had to kick a field goal at the end of the first half, basically because they mismanaged the clock a bit. They could have utilized timeouts and maybe given themselves a couple more plays. And then at the end of the game, I mean, I get that they were trying to set up like a field goal or something, but like I don't know why they weren't calling timeouts earlier when they could have. They probably could have gotten maybe at least one or two more plays, which when you see your kicker end up missing it short, definitely could have mattered.
Yeah. Missing it short on the kick. It's always,
It did look pretty windy, but I mean, still, like,
yeah. Let's move over to Jaden Daniels. Is it too early to label him a superstar, or is that just what he is coming out in his rookie season and putting up Lamar-like numbers?
yeah, I think he's awesome. I mean, you see, like, some of the throws he's made this year, super impressive. It's not like obviously you see the rushing numbers. He's a true dual threat. He can beat you both ways.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm looking at Lamar's rookie stats here. I think Jaden Daniels is about I'm gonna call him about 80-90% of the runner that Lamar is, based on his yards and
he's
and
he
and,
is a
and how his
better.
style. But I will say that I believe his throwing, you're probably getting what 110, 120% of what Lamar
Yeah,
is. So they're Daniels has some more throwing yards, has some less running numbers, but again, they're pretty similar in style of play and
yeah.
what they are doing.
No, he's absolutely electric. I mean, you talked about it as he was coming out. As long as he can stay healthy, like obviously with that smaller
That's
frame,
been his biggest thing, and
as
like
long as he
he's
can stay healthy,
surprisingly
like,
stayed very
yeah.
healthy throughout the entire year, even taking some shots. Yeah, rib injuries, but like I mean, I thought he did a great job staying healthy with the
Mm-hmm.
shots he was taking. All right, Christmas football. Chiefs defeat the Steelers 29-10. If I could give you a choice, Chiefs or the field, who are you taking?
I, I probably would have gone field, although the last few weeks they've kind of started to show that they don't have to win every game by three, and that is a little bit spooky. I do think that actually having a proper wide receiver opens things up with this offense a little bit. I mean, Hollywood hasn't been like crazy yet, but you still can see like some of it opening things up. Like Kelsey's not getting double teamed every play and stuff because they have to be conscious of other people. I would still lean other teams, but I wouldn't feel good about it.
Yeah. I mean, the Steelers turned the ball over a couple times against the Chiefs. That's just not going to work. But like you said, with those other wide receivers coming in there, I mean, Rashee Rice is not even playing, and just having a couple other guys back is giving Xavier Worthy like way more opportunities to use him how he should. This week he went 8 for 9, 79 yards and a touchdown. He's kind of a nice piece, like a sprinkle on top of the cupcake. I don't want him to be like the substance of it, but when you start like putting him in here or there with other pieces around him, he's really nice. I thought Mahomes had his best week, 29 of 38, 320, 3 touchdowns, no picks. He had a couple like shovel passes. I mean, he is just
Mm.
whatever he can do to get the ball to the receiver in whatever way. He can make a split second decision and do it. Chiefs or the field. It's like 50-50. I mean, I know like actual odds, it's closer to like 20% chance that they win the Super Bowl, but it feels like a coin toss right now, with the pieces starting to come back together.
Yeah, it is kind of funny. I really did think the Steelers were going to be a bit of a threat to the Chiefs just because the Chiefs have been having such offensive line issues. I thought, Steelers with TJ Watt with a pass rush, like this could be really what does the Chiefs in. And then they turn around and have one of their biggest wins. Like, I really don't know how you stop the Chiefs. I would have thought, with the offensive line struggles, just really getting after them,
I mean, I will say
getting
that
after
the
Mahomes would do
Chiefs
it.
without Pickens out there, it's tough.
Yeah.
Their offense just does not look the same. So I think Pickens is playing this week, week 18. But do you think the Steelers can win a playoff game with the squad that they have now with Russ back there?
I mean, I think it would basically depend on who they're playing.
Yep.
I absolutely think if they end up playing like the Texans, yeah, they could win that game, especially if they're getting some heat on Stroud. Stroud hasn't quite looked right.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Don't see them
but
winning at the Ravens. Actually, I
no, I
really
don't think they're
don't
winning
really
in
see
Baltimore.
anyone winning at the Ravens. But yeah, if
So,
they go to Houston, I could see the Pittsburgh Steelers beating Houston like 12-9, and like it's just a real ugly football game.
mhm.
All right, Ravens defeat the Texans 31-2. Last 3 weeks, Ravens D is averaging 10 points against. They allowed 0 this week to the Texans. 2 points came from a safety. Is this the Ravens D finally putting it together, or is just a terrible Texans offense right now, not being able to do much?
Yeah, I think the Texans are just off. If this is what the Ravens are going to do defensively, I don't know if anybody beats them. Uh, just with what they've got going offensively, but uh, I would think I would think if you're in the AFC, I'd love to be playing Houston right now because they just are a mess. They're just
Yeah,
nothing's working.
I don't see Houston having any chance at winning any playoff games. CJ Stroud's last 7 games, 8 touchdowns, 8 picks, 60% completion percentage. Houston's last 8 games, they're 3-5. They benefited off that terrible division. CJ Stroud is not playing well. Tank Dell is out. Stephon Diggs is out. Uh, I don't know who's going to play at the Texans, but I assume that might be the biggest spread of the first round in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's if you're looking for a home team to get upset, like on the AFC side, like for sure, I don't see them being a favorite, like no matter who they play.
Yeah. All right. Bengals defeat the Broncos 30-24. You and I both bet on this game. Opposite sides. I had the Broncos plus 3.5.
Never in doubt.
You had the Bengals minus 3.5.
Not a
I
singular.
actually I actually thought I had this locked up when Cade York was lining up his chip shot field goal to win the game in overtime.
I
He go
got yeah.
I was like, all right, sweet. Make this lose by 3. That's exactly what I called on the podcast. Take my money. Nope. Doink it. And then the Bengals go on, win the game by 6. I think he threw his third touchdown pass to T. Higgins. Since he stays
From the
alive,
3 yard. They could have kicked another field goal, and
they
they're
could
like, "Yeah,
have.
we're not doing that. We're just gonna score."
I know.
That was perfect. I mean, I really, in fairness, that Broncos touchdown at the end was not a touchdown. That dude never got the ball, control of the ball until he was out of bounds. His helmet was out, but it was already stolen from the Bengals side of the bet early, so it was justified.
Since he stays alive, 8-8. Their playoff hopes ride at a 6% chance. Burrow is doing Burrow things. 39-49, 412, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, 1 rush touchdown. On the year, he has 4,600 yards, 42 touchdowns, 8 picks, 109 passer rating. You think Burrow gets to 5,000? What's that? He needs that's at 350 yards this week, 360 yards this week.
Yeah,
Possibility.
I think what Mahomes just threw for 330 on the Steelers. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and say it may be weather dependent, but yeah, if they catch weather that's like reasonable, I don't see why not.
All right, and then we got Broncos just drop another one. So now they have to win at the Chiefs. Luckily for them, the Chiefs did get the 1 seed. They are going to be resting players. I think the spread's gotten I
It's
want to
like
say it
8.
started off at like 9. I think it's blown up to like 11 now.
Yeah,
So
I mean, if we're being honest, though, the Chiefs, not only should they be resting starters, they should be actively trying to lose. I would much rather see Joe or Bo Nix in the playoffs than Joe Burrow. Like, I have no interest in a Bengals team running hot, sneaking into the playoffs, and then all of a sudden having to deal with that. I
Yeah.
understand their defense has been a mess and stuff, but if I'm the Chiefs, I'm keeping Joe Burrow out of the playoffs.
No, I agree. All right, let's get into our power rankings. This will be the last one of the season. We're going to start at 10. We got the Commanders 11 and 5. It kind of feels like they can beat anyone. I don't know if they will, but on any week, it feels like if they showed up and won the game, like I would not be surprised. At 9, we got the Chargers 10 and 6. They are the number one D in points allowed. Herbert and Harbaugh together look really good. At 8, I got the Tampa Bay Bucks 9 and 7. They're kind of getting hot at the right time. They put up 40 on the Chargers. They lost to Chiefs in OT. They're probably going to win their division. They're playing the Panthers this week. At 7, I got Green Bay 11 and 5. They're too young, and I think they really need Christian Watson playing. He's always in and out of the lineup. When he's not in there, I think they look different. All right, at 6, 6 through 1. This is my Super Bowl bubble. I think these guys, anyone 1 through 6, can win the Super Bowl this year. At 6, I got Eagles 13 and 3. Hurts concussion. Offense still look good without him. Nick Sirianni, very reactive on the sideline. I don't like him. Don't like his energy. He's going to hold the Eagles back. At 5, I got Baltimore 11 and 5. Lamar's playing at an MVP level. Again, their defense is getting a little better at the right time. At 4, Vikings 14 and 2. Darnold MVP level. They're solid everywhere. At 3, I got the Lions 14-2. I have them one spot ahead of the Vikings only because they hold a home field advantage for the game this week. Only reason they're ahead of them there. At 2, I got Buffalo 13 and 3. They're going to have to go through Kansas City in the AFC. That's the only downside I'm seeing to Buffalo right now. And at 1, we got Kansas City 15 and 1. Pieces back together. Hollywood, Pacheco, Worthy, Kelsey, D-Hop, Noah Gray. You know what's scary? Justin Watson is realistically the 7th option for Patrick Mahomes on the Chiefs, and that's without Rice playing. If Rice is playing, then Justin Watson is like legitimately the 8th option. If that's your 8th option, like for the best quarterback in the league, good night. All right, let's get some talking points. MVP. Last week we said this was pretty much over. Josh Allen last week was not minus 900, clear favorite. That changed pretty quickly in 1 week. Allen is now minus 300. Lamar following him at plus 225. And Burrow actually jumps up in there to 3rd at plus 1600. What are you thinking about the MVP?
Yeah, this is uh, Josh Allen or Lamar with the seasons they've had are winning multiple previous year MVPs. Like, this is a tough year basically because you have two guys that should win it based on what they've done. Lamar's stats are incredible. I I am leaning Josh Allen personally, simply off of supporting cast. Um, Lamar's got Derrick Henry, and obviously their offense has been insane, and Lamar's been a big piece of it. But I do think that he has a little bit more help around him.
You know what's funny though? Is like, so Allen's at minus 300, Lamar's 2nd. I don't see Lamar winning the MVP award. I see Allen or Burrow winning. The funny thing with Burrow is his odds are at plus 1600. I think they jumped from plus 8,000 to plus 1600 after this past week. They have a 6% chance of making the playoffs. What is that? 1 in 16 chance. So basically what they're saying is they feel like if Burrow has a good week, puts up 4 touchdown passes maybe, and they do sneak into the playoffs, that you could go ahead and give it to Burrow.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Josh Allen is playing this week potentially. It sounds like he wants to play. He wants to start
I
to
believe
keep
he
his
has a
start
streak
streak.
to correct. Yeah.
Yeah, but I
But I'm
mean,
just saying,
but he has no way to
let's say
defend it.
Burrow goes out there and puts up 4 or 5 touchdowns and they do hit that 6% chance they get into the playoffs. How do you not give it to Burrow at this point? It's not a bad bet to throw down. I mean,
Yeah, but I'd rather just bet Bengals to make the playoffs at those odds than bet Burrow to get MVP at those. Like, even if they do that, like I'd still feel like
okay,
it's a
fair enough.
toss up.
Yeah. Yep.
Like,
All right.
but I
Uh,
do see the correlation there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley, he needs 101 yards to break Eric Dickerson's NFL record of 2,105 yards set in 1984. The Eagles have clinched the division. They are locked into the number 2 seed. What should Saquon, what should the Eagles, what should Nick Sirianni, offensive coordinator, do in this situation? Um, there's a lot of ways you could go with this. What are you feeling?
Saquon's such a team guy from everything I've seen. I doubt he even says anything to the team about it. If I'm the Eagles, I let him go for it. I put him out there. Like realistically, he could have it by halftime. Like give him like 15 carries in the first half, he'll probably have it, and then just you can sit him in the second half. Dude's been insane this year. He's earned it. Um, yeah, awesome season.
Yeah, I heard someone say this. It's not just if he sets that record, it's not just a Saquon award. It's like a offensive line
Yeah,
award and a receivers blocking award. It's a real
the
offensive team
totality
award.
of
It's not a
yeah.
just Saquon. But yeah. All right. All right. I was watching the Vikings game this weekend. They Darnold was throwing it to Naylor a good bit. Really good number 3 wide receiver for the Vikings. So it got me thinking, who's the best number 3 wide receiver in the NFL? We're not going to include tight ends in this. Just kind of knock them out of your mind. Maybe go top 3 here. 3, 2, 1. Who do you got?
Starting with number 3, I don't know if this counts. I think it counts. He's third in total snap share. Josh Downs from the Indianapolis
Yep.
Colts.
Yeah. 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 Okay.
He played behind Pierce and
Pittman.
Pittman. So
Okay.
I'm taking that as it counts. I'm giving him the 3 spot. Number 2, honestly, take your pick. I'm going Jawan Jennings,
I
San
like it.
Fran, but you could argue Pierce all after this week. I think it's Jennings though for San Francisco. Obviously, that's a really nice 3 and 4 combo that they have. And lastly, at number 1, I'm going Texans. Tank Dell, when properly healthy, he is that guy.
Yeah, I like your list. At 3, I got Lockett. He's getting a little older, but still like very reliable guy for your number 3. At 2, same thing. I got Jawan Jennings. He's performing at a number 1, number 2 for the year with their injuries, but he's really their number 3. Great number 3. And then at number 1, I got 2 players here. Kansas City, Hollywood Brown, D Hop are kind of both like the number 3 in that system right now. And if Hollywood Brown, D Hop are like your number 3, like that's pretty sick. Some reliable guys there. I mean, because number 1 they got
You're including like Rashee Rice
yeah,
and
yeah, they got Rice. Where I mean, that's
uh,
a yeah.
Worthy,
Yep.
Rice and Worthy.
Mm-hmm. All right. A lot of videos are coming out around Christmas time about players, quarterbacks, running backs purchasing gifts for their O line. Got me thinking. If you're Caleb Williams and you just got sacked the most times in the NFL, what are you buying your O line, if anything?
If I'm Caleb Williams, I'm going out. I'm getting all the guys on my O line some nice balls and nail polish because they're not getting their hands dirty anyway.
It's funny. I looked it up, but that apparently he bought his O line gift like card, not gift cards, like full like I don't even know what's the girl's word for it when you get your hands done. He like bought his O line.
Pedicure
He got like bought his
or
own
manicure,
lineman
manicures.
like specialized manicures from like his guy so they can go get it done. Like I don't know if that was like a
Oh,
satire
so it's
piece
actually real.
or
Wow.
I don't know if that was a satire piece
I was kind
or
of saying as a joke. I didn't realize that was real.
that's what I couldn't tell. Maybe he was thinking the same thing. Like, why don't you guys go get your nails done? Because you ain't getting them dirty because I'm getting sacked a whole lot of times. I don't know. Aaron Rodgers in 2025, what is he going to be doing? Is he going to be playing quarterback? Is he going to be Jeopardy host? Is he going to be off in Chile doing ayahuasca? What's good with Aaron Rodgers? What do you think he's going to be doing?
He's done at football. I think the Jets move on, and I don't think. I think at this point nobody's going to want to put up with that. I think he's off working, uh, maybe on TV doing something, but honestly, I think he's going to go hang out with Trump, Elon, do some sort of something behind the scenes with them, and just buddy up all kinds of TV appearances for them.
Him, Bryson DeChambeau, and Trump just on a golf course. You can see that.
Hey, Aaron, he like played a lot of golf back in the day. I don't know if he's like still big on the golf thing.
He
I think
did.
he's
He still played in the what was that Tahoe tournament this year? Maybe.
did he? Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. He was
I
out
know he
there.
used to play some of that stuff, but I really haven't seen his name in a lot of that lately.
All right. Patriots, they have the number one pick. The Bills are playing at the Patriots this week. I was telling my girlfriend, because we're here in Boston. I was like, the fans at Gillette this week will be actively cheering on the Bills and
They're
rooting
gonna be
against
like
the Patriots.
yelling while you're on off,
Yes. No,
trying to
when
like mess with.
I promise you, when the Bills score, like the crowd will be cheering
Yeah.
for actual happiness. We do not want to win this game. We have the number one pick. Um, so let's just assume that the Patriots do lose this game and keep the number one pick. What do you think they should do with it? I mean, they have
It's
Drake
actually like
May.
really
They,
interesting because the Bills, they're in division and they're locked up. Like I don't think the Bills can move, can they?
nope.
So the Bills should be actively trying to score safeties on themselves every play to make sure the Patriots don't win the game and get the first overall pick. Because
I
it
know.
does not matter to the Bills, right? Like, wouldn't
No,
it
yeah,
be in
no.
your
So
best
technically, it would be in their best interest to
to
have
make
the
sure that
Patriots win
yes,
and lose draft
and
value.
cost them the first overall pick? Like, why would the Bills not do that? You know, like I mean, obviously, guys are competitors and they want to win, but I would think that screwing a team in your division out of the first overall pick would be pretty cool. Because
No,
honestly, if
yeah,
the
it could.
Patriots get that first overall pick, they're in such a good spot. I mean, they could just get an absolute bidding war going between the Giants and,
So
and Vegas if that
that's what I was
GM's
looking
worth it.
at. So the 2023 Panthers traded up to the number one with Chicago. What did they get for that? They
All
got no, but no. Look, I want to see what. I just want to say. Look what they got for it.
right. Yeah, yeah.
They got the ninth pick, the 61st pick, 2024 first round, 2025 second round, and DJ Moore.
And DJ Moore. Yeah.
So an equivalent scenario would be the for Vegas would be like the number 8 pick, their round 2 pick, 2026 first round, 2027 second round. And I was looking at wide receivers and I was like, oh, it'd be funny if they tossed Jacoby Myers
Jacoby
back to the
Myers.
Bears because
Send it back
they're not
over.
gonna give up Brock Bowers. But I was like, that's the
Yeah.
most realistic piece, like a
Yeah.
DJ Moore who they're gonna send back.
Yeah. Send John
um,
Crosby or something.
no, yeah, I would
But
love to see
the
that happen.
yeah, no,
Again,
out
yeah,
like I really don't see a situation where New England would stay and make that pick just because they'd be in such a good spot. Like there are definitely guys that they could take that would help the team,
oh well,
but they're in
they
such
could
a
even
good
they could
spot.
even just like trade back to 2, give Titans the 1, and take Travis Hunter at 2. Like, well, there's no bad
Literally,
scenarios
yes.
where they're. I mean,
Like
it's
you can absolutely stack,
like
and especially now,
if you're gonna have a quarterback on your team
yeah,
and you're gonna have a top 5 pick, and you're not taking a quarterback, great year for it. Great year to not need a quarterback.
it would be really nice for New England to be able to stack picks with that because it really does look like Drake May is going to be a good option. He just needs some help around him. He's basically had none of that. So
Yeah, let's get someone other than Hunter Henry and what Demario Douglas.
yeah, Douglas is fine, but Douglas is like
He's
a
fine, but he's not a
slot guy.
1.
He's like a slot guy that should be your number 3 option, not like
Exactly.
your number 1.
Right. All right, fantasy football championship week. I got a couple stories we'll get into. We are in one of our leagues, our Wofford Golf League. Boda ended up winning that. It just it really irked me that I put a ton of hours, I put a ton of research into rookies, fantasy football draft. Um, I missed the playoffs, and this man won our league on auto draft. So it just shows that nothing you do matters. Uh, it's absolutely unbelievable. Do you have any championship week stories you'd
Yeah,
like
I'm gonna
to?
shout out poor Jeff, my caddy. He hosts a league every year. I'm in it, and he made it to the finals. So the way he runs the finals is it's 2 weeks long, and 2 teams have a bye to it, and then 2 out of 4 from like the 2 wild cards and the 2 auto bids as well played out. So you end up with basically 4 teams make it to a 2 week championship. After
Yep.
the first week, the bottom team is dropped. So you have your top 3 and scores carry over and go on to the last week.
Okay.
And you finish out and you get 1, 2, 3 paid out that way. Jeff made it to the finals. Unfortunately, he was the 4th team dropped, did not make it to the second week, and then managed to drop like 185 or something this past week, and technically outscored everyone for the 2 week total. But because he was the like last place team after the first week, did not win. So did not win anything actually. So feel bad for him. Sorry, bud. Maybe next year. And that's all right. He had won 2 years in a row, so we didn't need him winning 3 in a row.
Oh, Yeah. All right. I got one more story here. One of the greatest turnarounds I've ever seen in fantasy football history. Nate, team name Give Me My Money, made some of the most quality trades to turn his team around that I've ever seen. He started the season 0-4. After week 8, he was 2-6, pretty much done on the season. Made some trades, turned it around. Week 9 on, did not lose. These are his scores from week 9 on: 163, 135, 194, 141, 147, 128, 170, 194, 177. 161 points per week in a 12-man PPR league. He
Who
managed to
did he
get,
trade for?
he managed, this is, it's mind blowing. Nate, if you're listening to this, like, I don't know how you did this. You drafted 3 running backs total in our draft. You took Saquon, Mixon, and Warren. Somehow at the end of the season, you turned that into a starting lineup of Burrow, Saquon, Gibbs, Devontae Adams, Amon-Ra, Brock Bowers, and Bijan Robinson in your flex. It was unfair. The amount of stupidity that had to go into a quantum number of trades for him to land those pieces and absolutely walk away with our championship is unbelievable. So congratulations to him. Yeah, I don't know. Crazy. Just absolutely great turnaround there. Week 17 fantasy booms. There were so many of them this week. You want to read a few?
Yeah. There were a lot. It felt like a lot of the booms were later in the week. A lot of the busts were early. I guess those quick week turnarounds do not really help for the players. Starting off though, Derrick Henry in one of the early games did boom. Houston could not stop him. They just kept giving him the ball, and he was making it work. He found the end zone twice, although one of them was unfortunately his own end zone for a safety. That was the only time Houston scored. But still, great week for him. Lab McConkey, huge week, 2 touchdowns against New England. He likely will be a top 3 round pick going into next year, maybe even a top 2 round pick in next year's drafts. Yeah, he definitely made a name for himself this year. Next, got a shout Marvin Mims. Cook Cincinnati had the big touchdown late in that game to extend it. Kind of out of nowhere. I doubt really anybody started him, but to the one guy out there that maybe did for some stupid reason in a 20-team league, congrats. T. Higgins, insane blow up game, 3 touchdowns on the other side of that, including the game winner. He is definitely earning some money this offseason, whether that'll be Cincinnati or not. We'll see. Mike Evans and Adam Thielen in that Carolina Tampa Bay game on opposite sides, both had fantastic games. We talked about Ricky Pearsall in that Monday night game went off, and Malik Neighbors capping off a rookie season that was pretty special against Indianapolis.
Yep. Jaden Daniels, 31.7 points. Another big week for him. Lamar, 29 points. Burrow, 37 points. Trey McBride drops 30 points. He is the number 3 tight end. That was his first touchdown all year. I didn't realize it. That's crazy. Throw him some more touchdowns, and he's up there with, well, I guess it's tough to catch Brock Bowers, but yeah. You named him there. Week 17 bust. There was also a lot of busts. I'll start off with a couple here. Terry McLaurin, 1.5 points. He's been hot all year, just not great if he was in your lineup this week. Pacheco, 1.8 points. He's been slow. James Conner, 2.8 points. Took an injury there. Cooper Kupp, probably one of the most disappointing fantasy players for the playoffs. I think he had, was it 0 points 2 weeks
He
ago?
dropped a straight 0 in the
Yep.
first
And then 3.9 points this week. So, yeah, hopefully you didn't have Cup on your team in the playoffs. You want to throw a few out there?
Yeah, I had JSN never really got much going. Obviously, the offense in that game was brutal, but he was a guy that had really come on for a lot of teams, and they were looking for a big week. Joe Mixon, pretty much flopped.
Speaking of top 2 or 3 round picks, JSN next year, top
Yeah,
2 or 3 round.
he's going to be big. Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe Mixon, obviously the whole Texans offense struggled against Baltimore, but he definitely really struggled. Ramondre Stevenson essentially just got replaced in this game by Antonio Gibson. So he basically just did nothing for this whole game. So if you started him, that did not go well. Devon Achane, not like a horrendous game. He just didn't really get the ball much. Obviously with no Tua, that kind of handicaps the offense a little bit. And Breece Hall, just not the year he wanted. Obviously, the Jets never really got anything going. They refused to run the ball. and he just did not have the year he wanted.
Yep. Let's get into gambling. We are going to take you through the lines. There is no Thursday night football. We are starting on Saturday. Pretty clean and easy slate looking at the games. 2 on Saturday, got our 1 p.m. slate on Sunday, 4:25, and our late night. We'll go through it. Saturday, 4:30, we get Browns at Ravens. Ravens are 17.5-point favorites. At 8 p.m., we get Bengals at Steelers. Steelers are getting 1 point. Sunday, 1 p.m., Bills at Patriots. Patriots getting 3. Saints at Bucks. Bucks favored by 13.5. Bears at Packers. Packers favored by 9.5. Giants at Eagles. Eagles favored by 3.5. Panthers at Falcons. Falcons favored by 8.5. Commanders at Cowboys. Cowboys getting 4.5. Texans at Titans. Titans favored by 1. Jags at Colts. Colts favored by 4.5. 4:25 window. Chiefs at Broncos. Broncos favored by 11. Chargers at Raiders. Raiders getting 5.5. Dolphins at Jets. Jets +1. Seahawks at Rams. Rams favored by 5.5. 49ers at Cards. Cardinals favored by 4. Big game of the week is the Sunday night game. We get Vikings at Lions from Detroit. Detroit is favored by 2.5. Last week, I went 2-1. Brings my overall to a 22-27 record. I'm hitting at 45%. It's been a weak year. I had a tough start. Last week, Andrew went 2-1. He is now 28-19-1. He's hitting 58% on the year. Andrew basically lives in that 2-1 circle. It's a great place to be. 58% after week 17 is an outstanding place to be. This week, the lines are crazy. You really got to know who's playing, who's not, the implications. What are your 3 bets for the week?
So I will start by saying the reason I have done well this year, the favorites. The favorites are absolutely killing it this year. I saw a thing talking about if enough favorites win this week in week 18, it'll be the most favorites like winning percentage ever.
I think it's the league is top heavy and bottom heavy. So there's not much of a middle ground in the league this year where it's like the top 10 teams are really good and like the bottom 10 teams are just like really bad and there's no.
I think it's created some blowouts and I've been able to kind of target those when they do occur.
I like
But
it.
anyway, we will be starting on Saturday. My first pick, I am taking the Bengals -1 at Pittsburgh. They've got more riding on this game. I know Pittsburgh's obviously got something riding on the game too, but I think the way the Bengals are playing, like it just doesn't make sense to me. They've gone through all this and then lose this game. No, they're not losing this game. Next, I'm going to go Chargers -5.5 at Las Vegas. I mean, the Chargers are set for the playoffs, but their seeding still is, in the balance. Las Vegas should be actively trying to lose. They should not even have any interest in winning this game. So I definitely think the Chargers should take this by that much. And lastly, I'm going Houston +1 at Tennessee. Tennessee in no way should win this football game. Like, lose at all costs. Like, they really could have the number 2 overall pick if they manage it right. Or I guess if New England wins, would they have number 1 pick?
If New England win, the Titans.
Yeah, maybe.
If New England wins and the Titans lose, they would have the number 1 pick. Yeah,
I think exactly. So I mean, the Titans are incentivized as all heck to lose this game. Houston, it sounds like they might play their guys anyway, but even if they don't, like Tennessee should be trying to lose. So I'm taking Houston, especially seeing as they're the dog in this.
All right. I will start off on Saturday. I'm taking the Browns +17.5. I do think the Ravens obviously win this game, but like as the score starts to get up in that game, they're going to start pulling starters out, and I think it's going to be hard to win that game by like 20 points for the Ravens. I'm going to take the Bucks -13.5. They have to win this game. They're playing Carolina. 2 touchdowns for the Bucks. Baker, Mike Evans, no problem. And then I will ride with you on the Chargers -5.5. There's no reason that the Raiders should be trying to win this game. And the Chargers do want to improve their position. They don't want to be going at Baltimore in the first round of the playoffs. So those are our bets of the week. Lock them in. This is also week 18. So at the time of this recording of the podcast, the actual prop bets for players They're just not up yet. Tried looking them up. They're not there. But there are a bunch of incentives this week for players and contracts. Did you get a chance to look at any of them or no?
No, I haven't seen any.
Okay, so here are the major ones that I looked at. This could potentially be some sort of parlay or maybe just individually betting these. But D Hop, he needs one touchdown for 250 grand. So I might bet a D Hop touchdown this week. J.K. Dobbins needs 58 yards to hit a mark. Mike Evans, he is at fifth. He needs 5 catches, 85 yards. I'm looking for Mike Evans to have a huge week. To hit
He
a
wants he wants that 1,000 yard streak as well.
Yep, yep. Geno Smith's got an interesting one. He needs 186 yards to hit a bonus, but he also needs a 70% completion percentage in that game. So it's interesting. He needs some yards, but he also needs completion percentage. And then last one is Brock Bowers needs 9 catches to, I believe, pass the all-time rookie record for most catches. Uh,
Non-tight end, just any rookie.
Correct.
Okay.
So look for Brock Bowers to get absolutely peppered this week and try to get 9 catches. I mean, they're going to be losing.
What else do they have to do?
Yeah. What else do they have to do? So just keep a look at those. I'm going to check those out as the games approach on Saturday and Sunday and see what they look like. But yeah, that was a fun episode. Fantasy football is over. We're still going to talk about it. But yeah, last week of football, and then we'll get into playoffs. So don't forget to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at screenplay_podcast. New episodes every Wednesday, 8 a.m., wherever you listen to podcasts. Any last words there?
No, everybody, Happy New Year. Enjoy this last week of football. Next time we're talking to you, we'll be talking playoff football.
Yeah, Happy New Year. And please, Patriots, just do the right thing and lose this week. All right. We will see you
Yes,
all.
Panthers too, please. Goodness.